Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective here on Millennium News 24. Great to see you today. Great to see you. And thank you so much for joining us wherever you are from around the world. Log in and let us know where you're tuning into around the world. And tell me a little bit about myself. Tell me your perspective on everything that we've got going on this week. So we have a week ahead of us and we have a week behind us to talk about. So first, happy Liberation Day. Okay. Do you know what Liberation Day is? Today is Trump's Liberation Day, where he is putting out his 25+% tariffs on countries around the world. So everybody's a little shook up about it because they don't know which way or what's going to happen. Is it going to be a recession? What's going to happen as a result of these tariffs? Okay, because everybody now, we know the Mexican president, she said, listen, I'm not about to go tit for tat with you on these tariffs, because she knows that Trump will pull down the guillotine and put Mexico completely out of business. He's already shipping everybody back up out over there, back all their people back over there. So they got to fend for themselves when it comes to American territory. So she said, listen, I'm not going to go tit for tat. We know Canada, they're not our friends anymore because they are like, okay, we're going to war. They're about to pull the plug. They got the electricity in upstate New York and Ontario connected. I don't even know what the connection is. We didn't even know all this stuff and all these connections were happening around the world. But this is what's happening. So we've got to wait and see what's going to happen. We know a lot of food, goods, and services are going to be the prices are going to change, right? So they say immediately we'll probably see stuff in the supermarket. Trump says that it's going to, it's going to hurt a little bit, but we should be all right in the long run type stuff. But we never know, okay? So we definitely want to prepare for that. And so they say that if we go into recession, you're already into a recession. I mean, everybody is already playing silly with their money and, talking about that they don't have any and being scared, so we got to think about it. The Dow Jones right now is up 56 points. So it's not saying that we're going down just yet. So we're not out. So don't count us out. Don't count America out. Let's see what he's talking about. I truly believe that Trump wants his citizens to be the richest across the world. I believe that. I do believe that. Okay. I think that that's what he's going for. He's going for that Lincoln type of presidency. And, he's going down in the books better than President Lincoln. Okay. Remember, Lincoln freed the slaves, though, President Trump. So let's go with this. Okay. I still have not seen any executive orders that mimic what needs to happen in the Black communities and rebuilding the Black communities. And we're going to work on that. And I'm going to push you and hold your feet to the fire on that. So Elon Musk out in Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, they had thrown $100 million into the race in Wisconsin. Okay. Into the judicial race. That means for the judges, right? So there was a huge judge race. I guess they wanted it, this Wisconsin race, so they can affect Wisconsin, because Wisconsin is purple. So, you could either be blue or red. Wisconsin is a mix. It's purple. So they're trying to flip it red. Of course, the Democrats are trying to flip it blue. But right now it's purple. And so they chose the Democratic judge in Wisconsin. But Elon was on the stage. If you saw, he was giving out $100 million checks. You get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. He was giving out million checks to individuals in Wisconsin, spent $20 million of his own money. This goes down in history as the most money spent in a judicial election. So where are we going with this, people? Because, everybody's talking about the Citizens United and how super PACs can get involved, how much super PACs can get involved in elections, right? Because with a super PAC, when you have a super PAC, note, good people, when you have a super PAC, you can spend any amount of money on anything. So if Elon technically wants to give somebody $1 million to vote, say that they're going to come out and vote. So if you want a group of people to come up, because I'm assuming what he did was he wants, as many people to come out as possible. So he says, listen, I'm going to do $1 million drawing. Well, he did that $1 million drawing, and he was, you get $1 million, you get $1 million, you get $1 million. But it didn't work. So that is key in this, is that it did not work, E-Money. So now, where are we going from there if he puts in $1 million and it didn't work? He puts in $20 million, it didn't work. He's giving out $1 million per person. Shout out to those people who got that $1 million stuff, okay? Because they got that $1 million, they don't have to give it back, okay? Just because they lost. They showed up, and obviously they voted, and the people of Wisconsin have spoken. Congratulations to the young lady that won, the young judge that won there in Wisconsin. And hey, look, you win some, you lose some. Elon said that everything depended on this right here. And then he said, well, I knew I was going to lose. So, why is Elon in politics anyway? I don't know. We have to figure out why a man that is the richest in the world all of a sudden wants to take on American politics. He's from South Africa. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. It's got to be something in it. Maybe it's just a hobby. He's got, he's sending people to space. He's doing all these things. What are you doing it for, Elon? Are you pushing for the MAGA America that we are all looking for? But we're looking for MAGA America, President Trump, that includes Black America. Okay? I'm going to get that right with you, because I'm going to come see you soon, President Trump, on that, because I'm going to need you to be on point. Okay? I'm going to need you to be on point with some stuff. So anyway, what else? So Senator Cory Booker. Okay, Senator Cory Booker, he ran for president a few years ago. Senator Cory Booker, he was on the House floor last night, 25 hours. He has broken a record for the longest speech on the House floor, 25 hours. Okay, so I'm not sure how that went. Did he go to the bathroom? Did he take a break? I don't know, but he had the longest speech, 25 hours. Now, he did look a little tired at the end, but what he was channeling, and I thought that it was very valiant of him. He was talking about Medicaid in America, because what's happening, if you haven't known, that the Republicans are looking to cut Medicaid for a bunch of people in America. And that is because they are trying to take out all of this health care for these illegal immigrants. Now, how do you feel about that? Do you think that, America should be providing health care to people that illegally came into this country? Or should they be figuring out how to pay for it for themselves? It's a heavy toss up here, because nobody else can break the law. Let's be clear. Nobody else can break the law. We have Black citizens who have died for trying to sell one cigarette out of a pack. Okay? Because we're not allowed, and because you're breaking the law. We have Black citizens that are in jail because they couldn't get on the train. They didn't have the money to get on the train. And so they are in jail for that, and they have broken the law. So now when you come across to America looking for a better way, you want us to ignore that. And so I have compassion. I want you to know, I want my people, I want my viewers to know that I definitely have compassion. I do. But, the black man in America has got a short end of the stick. And I just want us, America first. That's what we're talking about, right? America first. Well, we've been here longer than a lot of people, okay, in America. So I just want to be clear that it's not that I don't have compassion. It's not that. It's just that America has a lot to do before it gets down the line to everybody and everybody's issues around the world. Okay, so let's just be clear about that. I do have compassion. But I thought Senator Cory Booker's valiant efforts to start Good Trouble, it woke everybody up, right? And everybody at the end of the day heard what he was doing and what he was talking about when he's talking about start this Good Trouble and what's happening with Medicaid in America. I think it made us all think, because at the end, he looked like he was going to fall over. If you look at his speech, he looked like he was going to hit the deck. He looked like Senator Book, like he was going to hit the deck. But I thought, again, bringing in Congressman John Lewis and the legacy of him. If you don't know, John Lewis was somebody that was beat walking over the Emmett Pettus Bridge long ago on Bloody Sunday. So he was a historical figure in the United States Congress who passed away a few years ago. Rest in peace to Congressman John Lewis. So we talked about the races, Elon's 20 million. And again, how do you feel about them just throwing money into these races? What do you think about it? And then what do you think about Senator Booker's speech? Right? Does that move you? Do you care? Was it valiant? And the other thing I want to know is, so everybody else had to stay in there with him? Or did they get to break and go home, come back 24 hours? I know some people, he was like Madam President, so somebody was there with him. And I know they must have took a nap a couple times and said, look, 25, listen, I know you're going for the record, Senator, but I'm going to go ahead and take a nap. It'll be in the notes. But then somebody had to take the notes, right? So somebody had to be up. Maybe they switched off. We're going to look into that. Our investigative team is going to look into that congregation. Okay. A federal judge drops the corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams of New York. Where they do that at? So now Mayor Adams, who is running for mayor of New York City, there's a June primary coming up. So people get ready. There is a June primary coming up. And you know what? I haven't known. Mayor Adams was considering going on the independent ticket. Did he do that? So he's been a little quiet, but we've seen what he's been quiet doing. I told you he wasn't going to jail. He might be doing a lot of things. He might not be the mayor next year, but he ain't going to be in jail. So that a federal judge dropped the charges against Mayor Adams, and he is free. Okay. So remember, he went to go see Trump. He had that little, shindig with Trump. When Trump got back in office, he said, look, T, let me tell you something. Whatever you need, if you need ice to run up on Rikers Island and the people in New York, go ahead and take them out. I got them all in one place for you. Actually, I'm going to move them over to another place, and you can run up on them there. And then all of a sudden, Trump said, you know what? We're going to keep Mayor Adams on a string. I'm going to drop the charges halfway, and then maybe we'll talk about it. But a federal judge said no more, so they can't even hold that over his head. So now here's the question. Here goes a shout out to you, Mayor Adams. You know you owe me some. Does he get his matching funds back? Because he needs the matching funds. 8-1 in New York, people. 8-1 in New York. When you run for office in New York, when somebody from the New York community gives you $1 up to $240, you get $8 for that. So you can get up to $1,700 per person by $240. So New York is about that money. So we're going to take a break, and when we come right back, we're going to have more with the New American Perspective. Me, you, around the world. We're New Americans. We're talking about perspectives. And here we go. So I'll talk to you in a minute. And we are back. It's your host, Janine Butler, on the New American Perspective. Excuse the craziness behind me. But did I tell you about Stephen A. Smith? Do you see what's happening with your boy Stephen A? So now everybody, like I told you a few weeks ago, what was going to happen. I told you Stephen A. was going into politics because he does his friends in the athletic world are not his friends anymore. Okay, so if you can remember, LeBron James tapped in about a couple weeks ago. He ran up on Stephen A. Yo, leave my son up out of this. Right? He said a couple little choice words for him. You know, he stood over top of him. You know, LeBron is 6'8" and he's brolic. LeBron is, he's brolic in the game. And, Stephen A., and if you saw the video of him fighting, which was horrible. Listen, Stephen A., anybody that moves like that, shout out to 50 Cent with his pitch and everything like that. But anybody that moves like that, men that move punching, he was uppercutting. You just look up the video. Is a weirdo, okay? So Stephen A. talks all the mess in the world. Everybody is folding him. He had Charles Barkley, calling him lame because Stephen A. came back and said, if LeBron would have put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung. Well, go to the video of him swinging, because who you swinging on, Stephen A? So anyway, so like I said before, Stephen A is reaching out to this political community. And like I said, I don't like it because he's just trying to find someplace else. He just got $100 million with ESPN. Shout out to you for that. But now his everything is dwindling. So he knows that he needs a new congregation to talk to. And he's coming in political. He's doing a tour with Bill O'Reilly, Chris Cuomo, and himself. And they're going to be in New York, and I believe maybe this week, they're going to be out there and talking that talk, and supposed to be talking about different perspectives, Stephen A. So he's coming into the, political world. I don't like it. Again, I don't like it because I believe that this is where white people go wrong with giving Black people a platform who simply want it, not who simply need it, not who that if you have a 1 million subscribers and, you're going to bring on this Black gentleman who professes to know what he's talking about, and he doesn't. Right? He's new to politics, and he'll say that he's new to politics, but this is the voice that we now have. So just a minute ago, there was a young guy on MSNBC that told Stephen A. that he is the chief for the Republican Party. Oh, he didn't like that, because I told you he brought on Candace Owens, he brought on Tom Homan. He was talking to everybody Republican, Bill O'Reilly. So Stephen A had a whole little nightcap about no, I'm not. This is not for the Republican Party. Do you remember when I brought on Andrew Cuomo? Do you remember when I brought on Chris Cuomo? Do you remember when I brought on? He went off. Okay. And, because he's feeling some type of way about it. But Stephen A, you are being used as a pawn in the Republican circles. I mean, it is what it is, and this is what you're choosing, and you're choosing this because you're losing the respect amongst the sports, and maybe you're losing interest too. I don't know, but I just know that it's not all what it's cut up to be, and I'm learning myself in television. I'm new to this spectrum. I've talked a lot for years. You never heard me, but I've talked a lot, and I made sure that before I started talking that I knew what I was talking about. And thank you to Millennium News 24, Mohammed Noor, for looking out for me and helping me build this platform. And thank you to you, all the listeners and viewers here on Millennium News 24 that keep me on every week. So I definitely appreciate you. But let me know how you feel about this Stephen A drama, because even Shannon Sharp had jumped in. He said, yo, Stephen A needs to leave this alone. The LeBron James thing was one thing. It was something. But then at the end of the day, what is you talking about, Stephen A? Where are you going with this? What is the problem? So that's my Stephen A spiel for today. But I told you ahead of time, like we do here, because we have a true perspective. I told you what was happening with Stephen A, and now everybody is going against him. You got Matt Barnes and all of them, all the smoke. He went on Gil's Arena. Shout out to Kenyon Martin. Kenyon Martin was talking that, that he would knock him out and all this other kind of stuff if he said X, Y, and Z. So Stephen A, we're going to watch how that pans out. And I bet you he's going to change up his music a little bit, but he's definitely moving into the Republican circles to get that Republican money and that Republican viewership. I'm hearing that them YouTube chaps are beautiful out there. And so that's what he's doing. Okay, shout out to 50 Cent. He was just, if you remember, 50 Cent has been in the news about starting a new film studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. So 50 Cent actually spoke at the city council in Shreveport, and they approved him to do his stage work studio in Louisiana. So he spoke. He was very happy about everything that was going on and everything that was happening. And so shout out to 50 Cent and that great success of putting together a film studio. We look to see much from you. His show on his station, on Roku, 50 Cent Action is up and running, and you can see a lot of different movies that he does. And, and I'm hoping that we, get to open up more of the community, because there's so many great film people out here that do great work. Tubi picked up a lot, and I hope now everybody on Tubi goes to 50 and we make that the new Tubi of our community. Okay, so also 50 Cent, they were getting on him because it looks like he was saying vote no on something that was happening in Shreveport, but it was going to affect what he was doing. And so they were a little mad at 50 for a while, and they calling him, a Republican sellout for a second. But I think that he prevailed, and they're not going to go against him like that. But again, in this country, you have to allow Black people to choose whatever works for them when it comes to politics. That is what politics is about. If you do anything else, you are playing along the lines of the slavery and of the things that have happened long ago. So I don't get where we're going. I don't get how you're staging that and how you're saying that if somebody black like myself, I am a black Republican, well-professed black Republican, it has helped this black Republican movement move along. Now, granted, we have things to work on. There is no leadership in this black Republican movement as of yet, right? Because we're new to this. This is the new Trump administration. We didn't get many promises, but he did talk about the Platinum Plan in the past. And I want to revisit the Platinum Plan for Black America because number 11 on Trump's to-do list, rebuilding cities, I think that's where we should work. And so Scott Turner, shout out to Scott Turner, Secretary of Housing of HUD, Housing and Urban Development. Shout out to him and his team, because I'm hoping that we can come up with a plan that makes sense, that our community can get behind, that we can spend the next 4 years, because I don't want all this money to happen and that we're not in touch with it. And that's one thing that we've got to think about, people, is how we going to get in touch with the money. Even if they don't offer it to us, how we going to get in it? Because that's our best quality about ourselves, is that we don't die, we multiply. Okay, so let's think about that. Let's think about what we need to do. Send in your perspectives, send in some notes, send in some thoughts, send in whatever you got. Follow me at Jania Butler, JINEEA, on all platforms. Butler, BUTLER. The Butler did it. Follow me on all these platforms, and let's talk about where we need to go and what we need to do, because I'll be a voice for us. I have, taken the flag and the mantelpiece back since 2016, 2017, when President Trump first jumped out. I ran for Congress in 2018, got to the general election, the November general election. Jania Butler was on the ballot. It was great to see. So now let's keep moving it forward. Your guy, Byron Donalds, out of Congressman Byron Donalds out of Florida, he's moving on to go for the governorship 2026. And so we are really looking for things to happen, but we can't be pro-white America as Black people. And I don't think that any Republican thinks that. I think that there's a small number of us, so we get easily outnumbered, but we're growing. And shout out to Lynn Patton and the Black History Month celebration that happened in February. We saw each other across the board. We know it's moving, and especially those of us who started from the bottom. Now we're here. We started from the bottom. Now the whole team here, So here we are. But what are we going to do with the moment? Now, Trump has been in first 50 days. If you ask me how I feel about the first 50 days, I'm this, I'm that. I'm feeling some type of way, because I want to hear an agenda for Black America. I need to hear an agenda for Black America. And if you don't have one, we can supply you with one. Okay, but we don't want to step on toes and other things like that. We've got the pardon czar out here. Great, and I hope that she is effective in getting people out of jail. And I look forward to hearing more about the people that the application process, and more about what she can do for folks and what she is doing for folks. But we need more than that. Okay, our community is more than that, and I'm expecting more, and we're going to need more. And so we're going to keep our eye on you here on Millennium News 24. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have some special guests. I hope that you'll enjoy what we have next up for you, but we'll have some special guests coming back, and I look forward to seeing you in a minute here on Millennium News 24. I'm Jania Butler, and this is the New American Perspective.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space, business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are back. This is your host, Jania Butler, with the New American Perspective. Shout out to my girl in the background. That picture is called Reality. I don't know which way to move. I'm always a little backwards, a little dyslexic with it. But this is one of my favorite paintings. I love to collect artwork. And if you see, it's called Reality. So it's a white face and then the black lady peeling her eyes back, of the reality. And this is the reality. So take that however you want to take it. And like I said, all roads lead to Shreveport. And so shout out to 50 Cent. Let me just catch us up on where we are today. Representative Jasmine Crockett, after she got censured for calling Governor Abbott out of Texas Governor Hot Wheels, I believe that she is going to get an assault charge. And like I said, what they're going to do to her, and be very careful with yourself, Representative Crockett, because they're going to come for your head. And if you're not ready, and if you're just, being jazzy and sassy, and she's got an extra police around her now, but she had grabbed somebody's camera. Somebody was, talking to her as she was walking. And, it gets tiresome. We know that. We see celebrities all the time, wanting to block people out. And so she got sick of it, and she kind of put her hand in somebody's face. And then what had happened was what happened was she started so I believe that they're going to try to charge her with assault. We've seen it. I don't know how that's going to play out, but she has to be very, very careful, because now there's a target on her back. They're calling her ghetto. Well, she's an attorney. I mean, she took on the hip hop. She took on the hip hop. She jumped out here, and it's very dangerous in certain. You have to be very careful. You have to know what you're doing, and you have to know how to move when you start, putting yourself under the hip hop moniker, because it comes with a stereotype. And if you're really not that, and if you're really not brolic like that, then it may come back to bite you. So I'm just looking over a couple things, making sure that we are covering everything. So Zell. Okay, Zell. What about Zell? So something happened with Zell, and so Zell is no longer has an app. So you can send Zelle, I believe, from person to person in if you with your bank, but it's no app for Zelle. So I think that you could do it in your bank. Something happened with Zelle. I guess people started getting funky with the money, and the bank said, nah, we ain't doing this because it's directly connected. It's a service that started with the banks, and now it's no longer there. People can, still use Zelle to a degree. So I don't know that everybody has Zelle. I guess it has to be bank account to bank account. I'm not sure, but I know the app is not there anymore. Okay, big in the news. Third term for President Trump. What we talking about? So, should President Trump get a third term? And I think we talked about this, but they're talking about it. They're pressing it. Oh, President Trump could get a third term. Right now, people, he cannot get a third term. They want to put something in the news to make something go and to make people scared. Again, remember, the Democrats are big on their fear factors and their scare tactics. Oh no, President Trump. Well, he's in for 4 years. Okay, people. So we might as well go ahead and figure out how we're going to get the best out of this, despite what we feel, despite what we're doing, or anything of that nature. So that's what we have to figure out with President Trump. What are we doing, okay, when it comes to a third term? Now, there was someone who had a third term, a president who had a third term that, like him, I forget, was it Truman? Let me just look it up really quick. But there was somebody who had a third and a fourth term. He died on the fourth term. Okay. So he died going into the fourth term. He died going into the fourth term. And so let me see, who was it? Presidents can be elected twice. Trump could try and run. So, but remember, AB had jumped in last week and said, listen, if Trump runs for a third term, then Obama can run for a third term. Then anybody would be able to run for a third term. So that really opens a can of worms that nobody has really been thinking about. What would a Trump-Obama election looks like? Now, Obama lost a lot of his fizzle, but Obama is a ball player. So he's going to get out there. He's going to go hard in the paint to get America back if he believes that he can win a third term. I wonder, so what would an Obama President Trump election look like? I don't know. Let me just say, let me find out who it was. I think it was Truman that, okay, hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. I haven't found it yet, but I think it was President Truman. I'm almost sure that it was President Truman that he had won an election. He lost the election. Then he won again. And then he went another 3 years. And this wasn't too far ago. This was in the last, I believe, 100 years. And then he ran for a fourth term. And he died before he could get that fourth term. So that's why they're talking about it. Trump, of course, would love to, talk more about everything and get involved and stuff. But, where are we on that? I don't know. I wonder if, let me see, Dr. Butler is coming on. He was a little tired earlier. You on? Now. So he's coming on and we'll talk about that third term with Trump and a couple G checks, because Big U and the crew out in LA, what are they talking about? Okay, are they talking about nothing? I think we're talking about nothing. Kendrick Lamar, they ain't talking about nothing. They ain't talking about nothing. So AB Butler with the G Check will be on in a second. And then we will talk about what's happening. So let me give you an update if you want to know. Big U out there in LA, who, again, was put in jail because they are cleaning up LA for the Olympics. Again, let me make that clear. They are cleaning up LA for the 2028 Olympics. There was a union president who said, listen, we cannot protect you in LA. Now, if you're having the Olympics in 2028, how could the union president not protect you? I mean, how can the police not protect you? And so the police commissioner said, no. We got this under control. This was 2021. They started this wiretap on Big U 2021. And see, now what I believe after listening to everything is that Big U, he was doing everything that he was doing because he knew that the police knew what he was doing and was okaying what he was doing. But see, this is why people who work with the police, that could always backfire on you, right? So now there's so many people that have snitched, and they talked about 43 additional counts over there. AB Butler's jumping on now, and we're going to talk about the G Check and G checking certain things that are going on and happening around the world. Yeah, there he goes. There goes the man of the hour.
What's up? What's up, guys?
You feeling okay?
Yeah, my head pounding.
Oh, wow. You want to take a break? You don't have to jump on now.
No, I'm good. All
right. And so superstar AB Butler just had brain surgery a few weeks ago, and we are gracious to see him and happy to see him here on the New American Perspective and the G Check. And so welcome. We are talking about, the follow-up between Big U, between last week and this week. Big U got 43 more counts of his case, his charges, 43 more charges in addition to what we were talking about last week. And so now he now is in big trouble. So I doubt that we're going to see Big U anytime soon, anytime in the near future. But he had talked to Adam 22. Adam 22 is the white guy who puts all of the gangsters, all of the Crips, everybody on his show, and everybody on Adam, and everybody, they all go to jail from his show, right? And so they're all calling in and still trying to be relevant while they need to get serious about their cases. What say you, sir? What is the G Check here?
Keep your mouth shut. That's the G Check.
And that's just simple as it is. And for some reason, these guys cannot keep their mouth shut. We also talked about Stephen A. Smith. Have you seen Stephen A. Smith this week?
What he said.
Stephen A. Smith is now going into politics. Well, he's trying to come into politics on this side of this field with us and talk about politics while squirming his way out of sports, as everybody is now jumping on his back. He said last week that if LeBron, when LeBron stepped to him, he said if LeBron would have put his hands on him, he would immediately hit him back. And he would have immediately fought back and got into a fight. Now, little Stephen A. is just kidding at the end of the day when he is talking about getting into a fight with 6'8" LeBron James. But everybody is going on him, from Shannon Sharp to Charles Barkley to everybody. Now, he just got this $100 million for First Take. Now everybody is saying, oh, Stephen A., go sit down somewhere. And they're now showing their real feelings and thoughts about Stephen A. Now, here's my question. Is that because he got the $100 million or because they didn't like him?
Well, listen, I'm gonna say this. They probably didn't like him because he doing what he doing. He know what he talking about. So, it's always gonna be hate. So you just gotta look at all that. It's just hate. We turn around, get a situation, and everybody hate us.
So you think it's a little bit of both?
Yeah.
Maybe, but Stephen A has always been somewhat of a creep to me. I was hating him before he got the 100 million. I didn't even know that he was on 100 million. I just knew that he was in the Republican circles talking and trying to bring up and trying to be a political caster now, and his show online, the Stephen A. Smith Show, has a lot to do with politics, and he's bringing in he's having some good commentary, but I know that it's because of his new lack of love in sports. And so I'm wondering if this is the sports lack or if this is just regular.
It might be both, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you got to remember the way the world is, everybody want to play tennis back and forth.
So this is true. So everybody wants in to a little bit of that money that Stephen A is coming for. And I can say that maybe a little bit. And Stephen A, he's fighting his way. But shout out to Stephen A. Watching you here on the G Check. We're gonna keep our eyes on you. Now you also have Elon Musk. So Elon Musk, he just put $20 million into a race in Wisconsin. Shout out Tony Neal, out there in Wisconsin, Core DJs, Tony Neal. That's his city. They put $20 million in a race for a judicial race. They're $100 million altogether. But Elon by himself, he was on the stage giving out $1 million checks to individuals who showed up to the rally. He just randomly called their names and giving out $1 million checks, and they lost.
Let me ask you a question. Why you wasn't there?
Because I'm not a Wisconsin resident, and I wasn't going to get a million. Now, I would have been in the house if I was a Wisconsin resident, and going for $1 million checks. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a G check. So
exactly
what he did was he put a cheese head on, and they said that the Wisconsin people didn't like it. He spent $20 million out of his own money. So I'm wondering if Elon is getting fatigue around the community, right? Because the community is not responding to him. They're tearing up his Teslas. They're doing all this. Everybody is anti-Elon, right? Because he's firing everybody with the Doge, and but here's a good point. Those $5,000 stimulus checks looks like they're going to be in the mail very soon of all the money that he saved. So what is this a good thing, the Doge, where they're saving money? They found people that were on Social Security, people that have been getting checks for 10 years, 100, people are 130 in the system getting Social Security checks. They found that money, they're correcting it, and now they're sending it back to the American people. Good, bad? What's the G check on that?
Oh, they need that money back. You know what I mean? My mom's could get that check.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. She can get that check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what we're going to do, I missed a break, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a break, and when we come right back, we're going to talk all the rest of the G check stuff going on here in America. And we will be right back on the New American Perspective, and this is your G check.
Hello viewers, you are watching Millennium News 24. America and global villages seen to America independence built by immigrants, manufacturers, roads, highways, educations, healthcare, IT, scientists, space business development to all thousands of multimedia and all major social media platforms and news network in America. Millennium News 24, one of truthfully news networks in America and global news organizations. Please watch, follow and subscribe. We are in iOS and Android devices, Roku, Amazon, Apple devices, all smart TV, globally Horizon satellite, social media Millennium News 24, Millennium TV 24. Website www.millenniumnews24.com and www.millenniumtv24.com. Thank you.
And we are back. Looky here.
Hey,
Looky.
I had to do it.
The Butler gang all in there.
I had to do it.
I was like, I don't know who's that
Oh,
right
yeah.
there? This is Butler gang number 3. You understand?
Watch out, AB.
What's up,
Watch
Cuzzo?
out, AB.
That right
I see
here.
You see that?
Yeah,
I see
exactly.
you.
See that? That's official. You see the bulldog. This is
What's
young.
the- hold on, let me get the-
INC Fresh in the house.
Yes. G-check. G-check. What it do?
You see Fat Joe
My
in the
guy.
building?
Huh? We here.
My guy, Fat Jeezy.
What's up, guys? What's good?
You ain't got nothing but love out here, West Coast. Hey, the last
Absolutely on the G check. We
the
G-check
last time.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, let me just back up history. The last time, damn, it's been a minute. Last time I seen my guy, we was in Justice, and we was in P Diddy restaurant eating.
Oh yeah.
And I was with Warren G.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a minute. It's been a minute. That was back when Ja Rule was just coming out. Herb Gotti, rest in peace.
A long time ago, beloved.
You already know, man. Go way back like beaties and backpacks.
Facts.
Man, that's love right there. That's AB.
Yes, sir. What's
God
going
bless
on?
you, brother. God bless you here, man. You hear me?
Fat Joe came over here and showed me love and support. That's my brother.
Good stuff.
That's a G-check.
That's a G-check.
That's a G-check right there.
Unofficial. So now let's talk about this. So what's going on the West, Ryan?
I don't really get into the politicking because the simple fact is just for the birds. But at the same time, what's going on is you got somebody has a high plateau on situations around the world where we at, and you got up and coming cats, younger underneath that been brought up by that cat, and at the same time, it's like the younger generation trying to get bigger. You know what I mean? Trying to get up to that status, and it ain't gonna never get to that status because it's just so much hate,
Wow.
against each other.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about black on black, and I mean it's so much hate that it gets crazy, mind blowing because we grew up. That's all we grew up on, right? And that's all we want to be is. And then you get that chance to get right there to blow up, and then that cat that taught you all that be like, sit down, sit back, and just keep telling you that, sit back, don't move, and you keep doing all you can do, whether it's selling, killing, whatever the move may be for that guy to tell you to make that move that taught you, and you make that move and you do that, and then he never put you there.
Right.
It's just like it's crazy out here.
Right.
Ain't nobody gonna be bigger than Snoop.
Ooh.
Ain't nobody gonna be bigger than Dre. Like what I mean by that is Like, and I'm being honest. I'm just being 100. And I don't usually get on nothing and pop nothing and do all this. I'm just being 100. I sit in the cut and I analyze.
For
And what
sure.
I analyze is the head person up there don't want to be big.
Right.
Like, but then again, I gotta take it back to where now look, now Dre made it to where everybody in his camp can blow and be big, right?
Mm-hmm.
And keep his same up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, you gotta excuse me, that Cali, you know. Ooh, but back to what I was saying. But it's just crazy how all these cats been just taught by this one cat and just want to blow, and then it's just like you ain't gonna never get big as that cat. And then there's this. What I'm saying is, it goes back to the streets. Um, ain't nobody, and it's a West Coast thing, man. You know what I mean? If you don't know, you know, come out here and live out here for about a couple years, and you'll see how it is. How even in a gang, a dude that's a leader, he's not gonna let you be bigger than him. I don't give a damn what it is. He ain't gonna let you be bigger than him.
Right. So
And then it just goes back to being like, now the young.
Let me say this, man.
Go ahead.
From the east to the west, you know what I mean, with the culture that you grew up in and the culture that we grow up in. We back in the days, you know, when Ice-T came out with Colors, we didn't understand the message of that, but we seen it. But at the end of the day, it's like that's what y'all grew up on, and that's the lifestyle that y'all moved on. But at the same time, it's like we got to realize we do things, and Snoop said this, and he said, I grew up in it. When I got in it, got the paper, I got out of it. You understand? Even though he's still a part of it, of the message that this lifestyle that he grew up in, but is about getting paper and keep it moving and help one another. You know what I mean? So we got to come to a point, man. We got to stop killing one another. We got the same energy we put in. We not putting in to help the next one grow. You know what I mean? Let me give a great example. I know a lot of people, you know, we know a lot of people, but look who came to see me today, took time out, come and see me. You know, Fat Joe, he stopped, he came, yo, bro, I'm coming to see you. That's love. You know, I had brain tumors. There's a lot of people that I did for, they didn't come through yet. My mom's 90 years old, came down from South Carolina, came to see me. You know what I mean? So that's love, man. We got to start showing the love, like us three. Me and Cuz, we went through a crash dummy moment, but look, we all three back together.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But it's nothing but
But
love.
see, it goes back to saying, right, and it goes back to saying, me and mines have fallen out, so I can know about what me and mines is about.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And it ain't gonna make us but nothing but tighter and tougher.
But I want to make sure, and I want to know what's happening in LA, because you know you got the Olympics in 2028 in LA. And so what part do you see that how LA is trying to now clean up, or to the illusion that they're cleaning up the streets by taking people off the streets that have been playing this game for so long? This has been going on. Like AB said, Colors have been what, 1990, right? And so we're talking about Colors, but now they're making it look like there's this big gang sweep and we just cleaned up LA with this one swoop. But at the end of the day, when you look at these forest fires, right? You guys had all these fires, you guys had all these things going on in those hills, right? And so all this money is coming now to LA. Okay, all this money is circling into LA, and everybody from all over the world is coming to LA. But so, how are the people in LA looking at that? Are you guys thinking about that? What is the feel when you know the Olympics is coming?
You got the first thing is we got to open our eyes. That's what we got to do. We got to open our eyes and realize what's going on. This is nothing new. It did it in Atlanta. They did it here. They did it everywhere. It's nothing new. We just got to open our eyes and say, let's sit down and talk and let's stop being greedy and selfish.
Sure.
Yeah, because that's what's getting ready to happen coming here. It's going to be a lot of people that's going to be greedy. They're going to be envious. They're going to be selfish. And it's going to be a lot of killing. But it's sad to say, but this is West Coast. It's just like, it's just, this is what it is, man. And it is no different from the East Coast. At the same time, but with the Olympics coming, you know, the government is cold out here, Jack.
Yeah.
Cold. In the hood, you know, spots was 20 something, you know, low under 30. Now you over 30 something.
Yeah.
Right outside the projects of the Jordan Downs, you spending like 31, 32. And that used to be like 23 back then. So what they doing is they weaving out the poor. They weaving out the poor. They bringing in the rich for this new Olympics. And at the same time, they wiping people out, boy. They clearing it out.
People where are people moving from LA? Where are they moving? Where's the next stop if you can't afford to live in LA? Where do you go?
Down south.
Yeah.
They going
push them. Yeah.
Mississippi. No taxes, you know, Mississippi. You can go to Atlanta, even on the East Coast. You're out of here. Yeah. Just saying. Over here, it's cutthroat.
Yeah. But that cutthroat is everywhere. You know what I mean? It's like,
oh yeah, for sure.
We got to wake up.
But AB, just like my boy Terror Squad, Fat Jizzle, out of nowhere, you know, busy guy, you know, come out of his way to come stop and holler at you. This is what I'm talking about. How y'all show different type of love, though. You know what I mean?
Not like everybody. The love
y'all show, y'all spread. Well, but
not everybody.
What we see, what we see, spread it. Y'all spread that. Y'all spread that shit. We'll spread it, but it won't get past 5. It won't get past 5 dudes.
You're right.
Y'all spread about 15, 20. It won't get past 5.
You're 100% right.
Well,
I will. I'm in a chat. Sorry, baby.
Today on the G-Check, the New American Perspective, you have seen the official full Butler gang. In the fact, I'm glad I got my guys here, my handsome cousins in the building.
It's getting ready to be. It's gonna be more. It's gonna be more.
You will see them next week. Thank you for joining us today, and shout out to Fat Joe for his love and
Fat
support.
Joe, Terror Squad,
G-Check, and we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Rest in peace to Big Pun, West Coast. DMX.
Yes.
God damn it.
Chris Lighty.
ODB, Chris Lighty.
Heavy D.
Man. Heavy D. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't forget about Herb to the Gotti.
Yeah.
What? Stop playing. My God.
Love y'all, man.
Love you.
Hey, love. Hey, Butler, G-Check. West Coast to the East Coast. Fat Joe. I need to see you in the gym, baby. Let's go.
You can just click off.
Only in Cali, man. I got you. Y'all enjoy. Have blessings. Love y'all.
Thank you so much.
All right. All right.
And that is your show for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. You've seen the full Butler gang, east to west. We're in the building. Shout out to Fat Joe for joining us today. And we'll go from there.